Okay. It's running.
Oh. But no capture card.
No. I don't know why it doesn't work.
Are you a hero? Do you think you got what it takes to join the ranks of Technic City's bravest at Emergency Central? Have you got the brains as well as the brawn? Think you can follow plans to build and control some of the coolest vehicles this side of the galaxy? If you do, then maybe you're made of the right stuff. Maybe.
A year after our CyberMaster review, we take a look at a follow-up set. 8450, The Mission, has 645 parts and came out in 1999. The lack of branding in the name surprised us. We thought LEGO made this set specifically as a CyberMaster expansion, but you'll kinda see why. Puron claims this set retailed for just $40 when new, but that sounds low, and this set might not even have come out in the US. We of course got ours used from eBay. We unfortunately did not get a box, but from what I've seen, it looks a lot like the CyberMaster box. It has some images of the main model, some images of the alt models, and even some depictions and descriptions of the software. The set contains mostly common parts with some rare colors, thanks to the CyberMaster/competition palette. Said parts even came in an early iteration of the now commonplace numbered bags. The mission does include a damped spring, which only appeared in 4 sets between 1999 and 2006. This part seems to have a defect. The lip holding the spring tends to break off when stressed. We had seen a few broken ones before, and R8450 had a broken one too. Even with the lip broken, the damper can still act as a damper, but I'm disappointed to find yet another poorly made part from this late 90s, early aughts era. We did get some physical documentation, but it mostly contains kid-friendly legal information in many different languages, just like the CyberMaster manual. Unlike the latter, this booklet does include some screen caps of the UI indicating the clickable features with and without CyberMaster installed. We had to download the software from somewhere and load it up on the old Dell with a virtual disk drive. Again, like with the CyberMaster, it did not work with Windows 7, and again, we think QuickTime breaks it. We installed the mission without CyberMaster in order to see what the software did as a standalone. We will show some clips of the animations at the end of the video. After the splash sequence and a long cutscene, we finally get to the main menu. By itself, 8450 only has one main model, the plane we just saw in the intro. The alt models come in the form of partly complete instructions or entirely incomplete ideas, and you most definitely need additional parts to make most of the latter. Using the numbered bags, you build the plane in 4 parts: the nose, the body, and the wings. Of course, the instructions have their fair share of weirdness. While the style of the steps broadly matches that of the CyberMaster steps, the updated control buttons filled with useless greebles look much worse. Despite all the animations, many steps still use arrows to indicate where to install a part or assembly. Some steps show parts in weird orientations and rotate them into place, presumably to better show the part type. Other steps perhaps even have excessive animation, most notably those with flexible parts. One such step moves a flexible axle with a joiner on it, and it looks really janky. The model itself has some construction oddities as well. The spacing of the rounds in the engines and the links in the landing gear leave noticeable, albeit not important, gaps. I'm convinced that the tail fins don't have perfect geometry either. The overall proportions feel very front heavy, with the huge nose sticking way out over the front landing gear. The nose connects to the body with pins, and the wings connect with axles. The plane only has two features. The canopy opens, and the landing gear extends and retracts while the engines pivot. This utilizes the sprung damper. A variety of accessories can attach to the nose: a winch, a claw, a drill, and a flare launcher. Very strange peripherals for this kind of aircraft, and none of them get mentioned again in the standalone software. When installed, these give the model a truly bizarre appearance. Now we can look at the alt models, or lack thereof. I can hardly even call this first one an alt model. You can take the wings and nose off of the main model and join them together without the body. This forms a smaller plane with a single feature, the opening canopy, and yes, the mission actually has instructions for this model. The partly complete alt models consist of a helicopter with a claw and a prop plane with no discernible features. The software sketches out completion suggestions, but you still have to implement them on your own. This feels a lot like the Jedi Master challenges in the Droid Developer Kit. Finally, you also get some pure concept sketches, all of which probably require parts not in the set, though some of them do look pretty cool. So, what does the software do besides provide instructions? It seems like not much by itself. Since the plane only has manual features, the software can only simulate what it can do when rebuilt with a CyberMaster core. You can make the various touch sensors trigger various actions, and you can watch your programs run in the lower left animation. Even then, the plane only has two motorized features, and most of the blocks just play sounds. Perhaps a bit lame. Okay, but what about the mission? Well, it does exist too, but not the way we thought. The script tells us to take the plane out on a mission, during which we will encounter some issues. These problems take the form of two minigames, something like Pac-Man and something like a shooter. You need to clear 5 rounds of these to complete a mission, though they do have a practice mode. In Pac-Man, you need to eat the blobs attacking the chips and revert the chips back to their original state. In the shooter, you simply need to shoot down all the figures running across the screen. The minigames have 5 difficulty levels, but it doesn't seem like you can die, only not successfully complete the game. And yes, that's it. That's the whole mission. Overall, I'd say this set feels a little disappointing as a standalone, but perhaps they can't really do much without any electronics. The contemporary 42066 air race jet has almost twice the parts and power functions. Having this kind of plane as the main model seems a little strange considering the search and rescue vibe. I think the helicopter would better fit the theme and the attachments that we never use. Anyway, stay tuned for part 2 where we integrate with the CyberMaster. And on that note, this is the end of the video, so have a nice day.
Join Emergency Central today. You know it makes sense. What did I tell you, amigo? Pretty hot stuff that goes on in there. Think you're up for it? Well,
let's give you a rundown of what's here. Click over there to find out about building and customizing variations on the plane. Select the simulator to experience some of the problems that our brave pilots endure while flying a mission. And tap that video screen to view a demonstration of how the plane's different tools operate.
He said the same thing last time.
Okay, yes, Bob, it was your idea, but that doesn't matter now.
Oh, maybe.
He said the
Yes,
exact
I know
same
it
thing
matters to
last time.
you, but I'm trying to explain things here.
Oh,
Now, where
maybe.
was I? Ah, yes. Along the bottom of your screen, there are buttons to help you control the movie. Click this middle one to play the entire instructions for one building step. Use the...
Oh, those are just tunnels.
Oh.
Trying to figure out what that sound was.
Okay, the thing is, this game has no relevance to... This is just Pac-Man.